Okay, we're ready to go. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. So I know a guy. He was working at a job at an e-cigarette company doing customer service, also doing a little bit of upsell and making 35 shekels an hour. And he got a job working for Eli Lilly, a multinational pharmaceutical company car, the whole deal, with no college degree, nothing. That guy is me. That was me like around 5 years ago. So this is doable. You just got to follow the steps. It works. You have to trust the process. I've coached many people on this process, and what I've found is that many people start, but they don't have the discipline to do the steps. It doesn't take a lot of work, but you have to have a tiny bit of discipline. So first off, you got to treat your job search like a sale. This is a sale that's going to make you MRR, monthly recurring revenue, of between 15 to 30,000 shekels a month plus. If you were working a deal in your pipeline that was going to make you that kind of money, you take it super seriously and invest a lot of time into it. So you're selling yourself. You're the product. So first things first, what's it take? What are the actual steps you need to take? First off, you have to be clear about the job. All right. You got to know what kind of job you're going for, what the exact job title is, and what you want to be doing. Okay. If you want someone to come clean your house and you call them up and you say, "Hey, Mary, do you clean houses?" And she says, "Yeah, but I also like taking care of kids and babysitting, and I also like all this other stuff," you're not going to hire them. Why? Because you want someone to clean your house. Same thing with employers. When they're hiring someone, they want to hire someone for X job. It's fine to have ambitions and to want to grow into other roles. That's natural. But the employer wants to know that he can get value out of you for that job that he's hiring for. So first off, this is a step that many people miss, and this is where it all goes wrong. They want to do customer success. They want to do SDR. They want to be account executive. They want to do business development, and they want to be management and VP. And then you put that on your LinkedIn profile and you scare away all the HR people and all the hiring managers because you're not sending them a consistent message. That's number one. Now, just like when you're doing sales, you find an ideal customer profile and then you find the buyer persona. Same thing here. You want to find your ideal employer profile. So to narrow down all the options, you have to sit with yourself, meditate, and think, what is the employer that I want to work for? I want to work for a SaaS company. I want it to be in the seed round early stage. I want it to be series A, B, C, D. What exact kind of employer are you looking for? Once you have that figured out, you then have to figure out the hiring manager persona. Who's the manager who's hiring you for that job, and what's he looking for? So I'll give you an example. I want to work in an SDR in a software as a service business, as a SaaS high growth startup. That's the kind of company I want to look for. So I want to look for late seed because seed rounds are getting bigger. So those are even in the millions of dollars. Some later seed rounds / series A, B round. That's what kind of company I'm looking for because then they'll have the money to pay me. So now within the hiring manager in that company, what's the hiring manager persona? What's important to him? What is he looking for in a candidate? He wants someone who's first off, he can trust and is consistent in his work. He can make the dials. He can make the emails. He can make those touch points. He wants someone who can speak the business language of SaaS a little bit, throughout all these key terms, industry terms that we like to use: SaaS, buyer persona, ICP, decision maker, all those things that don't mean anything. They're just fancy ways of saying simple things. Next, once you know what's important to that hiring manager, you want to figure out your marketing story and how that fits into his narrative, right? So let me give you an example. This is the most critical part. You want to take all your experiences in your past life, even if they're not 100% relative to the current job, and you want to distill it to the points that touch on what that hiring manager is looking for and show him that you have the minimal viable skills to do the role. Okay? So for example, if you've worked in the past as a server in a restaurant and you're looking to go into a B2B SaaS company, and so that you can use that to say, I've worked as and you're in, and you want to, let's say you've worked as a server in a restaurant and you did the sales course, right? The sales course. And what's important to a high growth B2B startup is to have someone who can make the necessary touch points, someone that they can rely on, and someone that can learn quickly. You can say, I've had experience working as a server where I realized I wanted to work with people. Currently, I did the sales class so I can get the skills necessary to understand software as a service. And I'm looking for a role that I can grow in and ramp up quickly and become excellent as an SDR based on my experience. So that's how you would parlay that particular experience. Once you have your story, once you know who wants to hire you, and once you know what you want to get hired for, what you then do is you then build out a list of companies that you want to work for. You open a Google Sheet and you just build out a list. Now, how do you find these companies? One, you Google them. Two, Startup Nation Finder. There's a list of all the companies. You can depending how picky you are or not picky you are, you can do it by industry. You can do it by business model. You can do it by size. So just Google. There's a lot of resources that'll give you different companies that are out there. And there should be no reason you can't find 20 to 30 companies that you should say, Steven, I want to work for these 30 companies if they would hire me. Or Anna, these are the 20 companies I want to work for. Then what you do is you go into LinkedIn and you find that hiring manager persona that would hire you. And you reach out. First off, you look one level above, so the hiring manager persona in those relevant companies. And you go horizontal as well, and you look for people doing your role as well. And all you do is you can do the straight pitch. I actually like to ask for advice and mentorship. People want to help. There's a secret here. All you do is you send them. So when you send a connection request, a friend request, you can do up to 100 connection requests a week, right? If you're in a group with them on LinkedIn, join a lot of groups, you can maybe even do even more. So do 12 connection requests a day to vertical, people who hiring for your role in those specific companies. You can search for them. You could search for titles in specific companies. And horizontal, people who are working with you. And this is what the pitch looks like. Hey, Bill, my name is Eden. I did the sales class. I'm working as a server. I'm looking to break into tech because I realized I wanted to work in people, and this is where I want my professional career to go to. Do you have any advice for me? Can we connect? I would love to learn from you. That's all you do. You send that to 100 people a week. Out of those 100 people, 5% are going to answer you. Out of those 5% that answer you, 2% are going to say, oh, yeah, we're hiring for that role, and ask for your resume. Now, why are they going to ask for your resume? Because every single company out there is dying for talent, and they all have programs where they give people that refer resumes to them a bonus if that person gets hired. So no skin in the game for them. They pass on that resume, they can make a couple thousand shekels. You follow this system consistently for a month, I guarantee you will have a job. If at the end of a month You sent 100 friend requests to relevant people, hopefully even more because you're in the same group, so you could send out more. You made a list of 20 plus companies that you want to work for, and every day you message 12 people and you don't find a job from it, I will donate 500 shekels to a charity of your choice. That's how much I believe in this program, because it works. All right, questions. Open your mics.
Damn, I missed a chunk of that because I lost connection. Are we going to be able to get the recording, Eden?
Yeah. I'm recording it. Hopefully it'll work out and I'll shoot it over.
So one question I have, when we reach out to the hiring managers, you would recommend us to give like a pitch of what we did, or just saying like, let's connect and we like, and then I introduce on the phone?
Very briefly. And it's just about planting that seed in their mind about how your past experience brings this role that you're looking to get, makes sense why that's the next step in your career journey and why you're the right candidate for them. So it can't be out of the blue because Anna's been working in a coffee shop as a server, and now all of a sudden you want to work as an SDR in SaaS. Like, what's the connection? No, I was working with people. I realized I wanted to work with people, and the way to grow a career in Israel is in high tech, and your skills are perfect for that role. And I've even done a sales class to learn the minimum skills available. So the next obvious step in this journey is an entry-level job as an SDR. You want to connect the dots in their mind and show them how it makes sense to hire you.
Makes sense. Thank you. Taking notes.
Mm-hmm. All right, who's any other questions?
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to turn my video off because I'm using my mobile connection over here.
No worries, do whatever you want.
Okay, so if we take me, for example, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. If we take me, for example,
Mm-hmm.
so my experience has been, relevant to the SDR field, is that I've co-founded a business where I was actually cold calling companies. And then I've had a business where like it was a successful business, but it's in that business I experienced use with a lot of.
I'm losing you. Oh, Selwyn, I think we lost you again.
Business SaaS stuff like Shopify, Zoho, CRM, customer service, amongst e-commerce, all of that. Damn, it has to happen now. Okay.
Just
okay. So
shoot me. Give me. No. Just say it again, but quickly. You started a business. Then what happened? All right, someone's jumping in and out. Anyone else? Serene, any questions? Cindy, Sarah, Anna, Hillel Boim. Yes.
Aiden, I have a question.
Sure.
For example, when we are thinking to apply, I don't know about your experience, but when we compare startups and the big companies, what are the pros and cons you can tell about startups and big companies?
Some pros and cons between startups and big companies. A bigger company, a bigger company, you'll just be a small cog in the wheel. You won't have as much input into the systems. You'll really be playing a role. A smaller startup, there's a lot more upside, as in growth and career advancement, as well as that ever elusive big money exit. So it's really and there's a little more, and the smaller company, there'll be more instability. So they'll be making the roll up as you go by definition. They won't have a lot of times a set system, and it'll be on you to invent it a lot, and a lot of more dynamic changes. Whereas in a big company, things are more set. They've been doing a system for a number of years. You know what exactly your role is. So those are some of the differences.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have another question. It's because I'm looking for different roles, not only SDR, so that it's challenging. For example, I'm interested in client success as well. So that's challenging, right? For LinkedIn.
It's super
as you
challenging.
mentioned.
And are you married?
No.
No. Okay. So
Why?
why? Because you didn't get engaged yet, but let's pretend you're into guys, and the guy you're into is into girls, and you get down on one knee and you say, David, will you marry me? But you should know I'm also looking to date girls as well. He's gonna be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
one second. He's not competing with other guys now. He's now competing with girls too. Maybe you don't even want a guy. So why should now I have to commit a big commitment and pay you a lot of money if we get divorced when maybe you don't even want me? Maybe that's a bad example in today's ultra sensitive Me Too environment, but you get the point. You're sending mixed signals, and that's not good. I think you have to, I think that comes from a place of scarcity mentality where I'm worried about what's out there, so I'll go for everything and I'll for sure land something. When really, in reality, the opposite is true. You have to be the one that's wanted and desired by the companies, and that's when they'll hire you, not the opposite. And you have to communicate that feeling. So you're communicating the wrong thing when you're looking for a bunch of different roles. And it's much like starting a business. The reason I haven't succeeded in business yet is because I was always trying to do 5 things at once. If you can't figure out what you want to do, there's no other solution but to lock yourself in a room, go on a meditative retreat, Vinyasa yoga retreat for a week without speaking. And you just got to figure that shit out and decide, come out into the world with clarity, get the clarity you need. This is what I want. This is what's best for me, and project that into the world, and you'll be able to land your dream role. I'm sorry if there's no shortcut, but that's the way I see it. That's the only.
Yeah, no, I understand. Thank you. I feel like with the resume, if it's only sending the resume, it's easier if you have like multiple interests, right? Like,
yeah, but sending resumes don't work. Sending resumes don't work.
No, I know.
They look at resumes 6 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, no.
Next. What did I learn about you? You want to tell me about yourself in 6 seconds? You can't. It doesn't work. It's literally, you know what? Go fill out a lottery ticket. That's a better solution. Just fill out lottery tickets. You have a better chance. Because even if you land a role filling out resumes, it's not going to be the right role for you, because it's just going to be the one that's got randomly chosen, that the sky poured down its blessing on you and got for you. You want to be the one choosing the company. You want to be the one choosing the role. You want to be the one choosing what your career path looks like, because only you know what's best for you in the long term. And that's the only way to make you happy. And you know what? We're picky nowadays. We don't want to work for shitty companies anymore. We're done. Our parents work for shitty companies. They worked 30 years for a shitty company. They got the gold watch at the end, little pension. They play with the grandkids. I don't want that. I don't think you want that.
Very clear. Thank you. Okay. Impossible to get it more clear. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So when you figured it out?
Yeah, we figured it out. We're on the land now, and it's working.
So you had a company. You were doing cold calling. The company.
I first did cold calling and built up a company. It was a nice business. Co-founded with my sister. It was many years ago.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then after that, I built up a company myself, a big company actually. Well, I don't know what big is, but it's in that company I learned stuff about SaaS, like CRM, not only working knowledge of CRM. I don't know how to use Salesforce on a practical level for SDR-ship. But, you know, I learned stuff like I use like Zoho CRM, you know, Shopify, e-commerce, all of those good things. And I learned how to run a business, deal with customers. And then that's the last business that I had. And now I'm here. Now I'm here in Israel. Okay, so I want to distill that. I want to distill that into the SDR. And I think
when did you make Aliyah?
Well, 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Listen, guys, you're still in the phase where we can forgive you for your past sins. And what I mean by that is when you make Aliyah, you're making Aliyah and moving into a new economic reality. You can leverage that to your advantage and say, this is what I was doing. And I realized now being in Israel, I have to do XYZ SDR at a SaaS company. And this is how my past experience can help me succeed in that role.
Yes.
So that's what you have to do. Say, listen, you have the chance now to get a candidate that you couldn't otherwise get. The only reason you could get me is because I made Aliyah, and in Hul I was doing all these awesome things, cold callings, companies. If you were hiring me in South Africa, I wouldn't even look at you. But because I'm moving here to Israel and I realize the future is in tech, you have now the opportunity to get a superstar on your team and an entry-level role. And I'm willing to do that because I'm willing to build myself up, because now I made Aliyah. I have to play ball with the new economic reality. So you better snatch me up or someone else will.
Yeah.
That's what you want to communicate.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what you want to communicate in subtle ways.
Cindy is blocked. Does anyone know how I can unmute her? Is anyone else trying to talk that I'm muting? I'm clicking ask to unmute and I can't. Cindy, my one thing that I can try to do is kick you out and then you can rejoin. I'm going to kick you out. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Rejoin. Remove. Boom. Oh, she won't be able to rejoin. Okay, I'm not doing that. Are you trying to talk, Cindy? You trying to ask a question? All right. Anyone else? Sarah, thanks for joining us. I understand you're at work, by the way. I could see how this could be an awkward sort of meeting for work, but anyone else? Anything else? Are we good? We figured it out. You guys all gonna go get jobs? I'll share the paper. I'll share my one-pager with you guys. I wish you the best of luck. If anyone needs any help, feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out. I'm telling you guys, there's so many people out there who are willing to mentor you, who are willing to share tips. You just have to reach out and ask. So make sure you're taking advantage of that and leverage LinkedIn to do that. Thank you, Stephen. And see you guys later. Thanks so much for joining. All the best.
Thanks, Eden.
Bye-bye.
Bye.